Is it harder to raise $25 million to make a film, or is it harder to raise $1 or $2 million for a smaller film?
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
The answer is easy. It's harder to raise $1 million than $25 million. I'm just saying there's a prejudice against films under $1 million.
People's Minister of Information, JR, from the fantastic traveling film Circus, Black Report Radio, and all that good stuff. And we're here at the Grand Lake Theater. We are watching Ghost Town to Havana. It's the premiere, and we're gonna talk to a few people about what they thought about this great film. I watched it, I loved it. I love the international politics. I love the issues that it brings out about society in the United States versus society in Cuba. And I love just the overall theme of brotherhood through sports. Brotherhood through sports with the coaches, but also with the players. This is one of those films that you need to check. Check it out. We're gonna check out some of these people. I'm gonna catch up with the director, a few stars of the film. Stay tuned. People's Minister of Information, JR. I'm at the premiere of Ghost Town to Havana with the co-star, Monte Smith. He famous in the film because he smashed off in Havana. He got pissed off at the game. What was it? What was the issue? Something about they wanted to play with a softer ball or something like that with you?
It was something like, no, that was with Eddie. My concern was the night before we got into it with some of the players, goofing around.
Yeah.
And then the next day I didn't want to play, and it was like they was trying to force me to play, but I didn't want to play, so I just got an attitude like, man, I don't want to play.
Hey, you know what I want to just show the viewers? That's the town. Whether it's Gary Payton, J.R. Ryder, Monte Smith, the town smash. When the town don't feel like doing what the town want to do, we do what we want to do. Man, so how do it feel though to be at the Grand Lake, brother?
I mean, it's a blessing, but at the same time, it's just like, I just want like younger kids that was around my age, 5, 6, 7, to start playing and get an idea of like anything possible. You go anywhere you want.
So you take it serious, you with baseball?
Yeah, I stopped playing actually, so I just been working and stuff, so it's just like, man, I just want another little kid to look up to somebody and be like, man, I don't want the streets, I just want to play baseball and sports and make it. So it's really my big goal out of it.
Man, come on, man. How many people get to play baseball in Cuba, though?
Not too many, but it was fun. I'll tell you that. Great experience. Girls.
Yeah.
Really girls. But, it was just sightseeing. So,
What's up?
It was cool.
Right on, bro. Well, thank you for doing a quick little
No
interview.
problem. All right.
All right. We still at the premiere of Ghost Town to Havana. I'm here with my man Chris Fletcher. He's one of the co-stars of the film. A lot of tragic stuff happened to you in the film. I mean, when you look back at 18 and you look at yourself when you were 12 years old in the film, how did you get over the fact that you went all the way to Cuba, played baseball, had fun, then something tragic happened in your family and you lost a family member? I mean, do you look back and wonder how did you make it over that, and how did you make it over that?
I was glad that they didn't tell me out there But when I came back, probably like 10 minutes once I got to Roscoe House, my mom come pick me up. I drive by candlelight. I'm like, oh, somebody got killed, but I'm not knowing the whole time it's a family member. So I was just like, I was mad at myself. Like I went out to play baseball, and then I come back to this. It was just a lot of stuff.
So how do you feel now? It's been 6 years later. Were you glad that you went to Cuba?
I mean, now that I look back on it, yeah, it was fun. It was a great experience. I mean, you gotta move on from stuff like that, but it's still with me. But you gotta move on.
Did you think that the documentary would be sold out like it is right here at the Grand Lake?
No, I was just thinking like we had somebody come and film us. It was just they was doing it for games because we playing baseball, we winning games. I'm just thinking like, oh, it's just a guy taking pictures of us filming. But then we going to Cuba, it started blowing up. We get back and they got a demo or a documentary waiting for us. And it was big, but I didn't think it would get this big.
How many of your homeboys in your life been to Cuba? Besides the ones who went with you?
I don't even think people done been. Farthest people probably done been probably like Vegas. Havana, that was big.
So you still play baseball?
No, I play football for Nevada. I'm at Country Costa College right now, playing football with Coach Rosco.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, man, thank you for doing the interview. Yeah. Right on, bro. Stay up.
Yeah, you too.
¿Para dónde va la segunda? Ya. Me llamo Humberto Nicolás Reyes. Sí, me gusta trabajar con niños.
If there is a church of baseball, this field in Havana is its rocky, weed-choked Sistine Chapel. And Coach Nicolas is Michelangelo. Every neighborhood and municipality in Havana has its own Nicolas teaching baseball to boys 5 to 14. Every kid who wants to play baseball gets a chance to play.
Thomas and a group of 3 other young men are standing right here in the driveway. The heat of the bullets, you can hear them going off, whizzing by my head. Thomas lays right here. He took another final, and that was the last sound I heard out of him. My wife and I, we just sat down and talked, what can we do?
Rise on me! Rise on 3! 1, 2, 3, roll!
We didn't have money. We didn't have skills. We didn't have nothing really but kids.
I told Rosco how sometimes 3 Cuban kids had to share one worn-out baseball glove, so even the poorest of kids could play.
Doesn't matter that they're not in the Bay Area. They're our brothers. Already broken in.
Oh, man.
And I really hope we get to come play you guys one day.
Rosco is on fire to take his kids to Cuba.
No, Eddie, calm down. Calm yourself down. I need better answers, Monte. I need you to man up.
It's the Nicolases and Roscos of this world that teach our children toughness and gentleness and to face up to your responsibilities.
I want to show these kids there's more to life than Ghost Town. These little 6 blocks that are holding them hostage. I kept seeing these kids as our future kings and queens.
We are still right here at the Grand Lake Theater in Oakland, California. I'm here with the director of Ghost Town to Havana, Mr. Eugene Corr, who is an Academy Award nominated director. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
What made you want to do this film in particular? I know you intertwined the film about these young boys from Ghost Town, but you also intertwined it with your own past and your father's past in playing baseball in Oakland from the 50s to the 80s. What motivated this? Was this a project that you saw in your head when you saw these boys, or is this something that you've been dwelling on and been looking for the right pieces to put together for a while?
Right, good question. I was at a baseball game in Central Havana, Cuba, and I met this guy, Coach Nicolas Reyes, who reminded me of a brother from Richmond. You know, Afro-Cuban, a world-class coach, and the baseball that was being played was absolutely spectacular. It was jaw-dropping. And I'm talking about kids 4 and 5 years old, you know, up to 12.
On the same team?
On the same team. You mixed them on the same team. So you've seen the movie?
Right.
Yeah. So I was floored. And it did remind me of the time in Richmond in the 50s when Nickel Park was kind of paradise. And my father's team won the state championship, Contra Costa Comets. So, you know, filmmakers, it happens sometimes. You have a moment where you go, my God, I'm going to make this film. And it's going to be about here and what's here, the life of Nicolas Reyes. Because the dedication of both of these coaches, Nicolas Reyes in Havana and Coach Rosco in Oakland, is just stunning. You know, and they're quality people, and they're generally unrecognized, and the work they do is hard, and they're completely passionate, completely dedicated, and it's a story I felt needed to be told. I came back. You know, there were once many mentors in the inner cities of the East Bay, and this was, as you probably know, a baseball hotbed.
Right.
The best players,
Jackson, Ricky Henderson.
All of them. Yeah, before that, you know, Frank Robinson and Vada Pinson and Kurt Flood, and they transformed the game from right here. Kurt Flood challenged the reserve clause. Frank Robinson was the first black manager. This was Cuba in 1950, in 1955, throughout the 50s. And that changed. So I went into a bar, I said, where can I find a guy like Nicolas Reyes in Oakland or Richmond? And this guy handed me a newspaper. He said, look, read this. And it was an article about Scott Awesome in the green sheet, in the sports page, about Roscoe Bryant, this guy who had started a film, started a team when you know, a kid was shot and killed outside his house. So I met with Roscoe, and Roscoe was reluctant to do it. He said, because every story about Oakland is negative. And he thought about it. He said, well, if you do a film without any drug dealers, without any hookers, without any sideshows, you list all these things, you know, that's not about the gangs, it's just about the kids. You know, yeah, I'm on board. I would love to do that. So that was kind of our deal from the very beginning. That's a long-winded way, but it really came in one instant, one moment. The next thing you realize is 8 years later, and I'm at the Grand Lake, you know, Theater in Oakland, and the movie's being shown.
Now, I mean, one thing that I liked about your film is that it was realistic. I mean, one of the guys who went to Cuba, one of the young guys, lost a family member. Coach Roscoe's wife cheated on him during the process of the film. I mean, it was real life situations. How did you feel editing this, and did you have to cross this with Roscoe before you put it in the film, or was it everything that you recorded was up for grabs?
You know, I mean, at that time in his life, the last thing that Roscoe wanted was somebody pointing a camera in his face. It was hard.
I can understand.
It's really hard. But I think he's a real, he's a man who honors his commitments. He said he was going to do it, and he really, at that point, didn't want to do it. He didn't want to go to Cuba. He didn't want to be a coach. He didn't want to do anything. But he honored the commitment. I wanted to show the quality of these men and the dedication of these men. So we're hoping that audiences will find that compelling. I found it compelling to witness it. The point of this screening today is to honor inner city mentors and inner city coaches.
What other films have you done? I saw that you were nominated for an Academy Award. What film were you nominated for?
The nominated film was a documentary called Waldo Salt, A Screenwriter's Journey, about the screenwriter who wrote Midnight Cowboy, Coming Home, Circus, a 3-time Academy Award winner, a communist who was blacklisted for his beliefs. Powerful story.
What year did you put this out?
That was 91. And then, before that I had a career in film. I used to direct Crime Story and Miami Vice, TV shows, and I made a dramatic film called Desert Bloom with John Voight. I was not the biggest fan of Miami Vice because I couldn't get along, I should put this on, but I couldn't get along with Don Johnson.
Wow. It was the Hollywood?
It was a Hollywood scene. It was the 100th episode, which was a plug for Michael Mann to give me that episode. And then Don and I couldn't get along. It was my job to get along with him. He's the star. It was his show.
She wasn't seeing it that way at that time. How do you feel about the politics in Cuba and getting back to Ghost Town to Havana? I mean, you talk about baseball. You're a big fan of baseball, so you have to be a big fan of the sport in Cuba because a lot of Cubans come to the United States and play in the major leagues. I mean, how did you deal with the politics, and how do you feel about the politics in Cuba?
What I feel about Cuba and what's shown in the film, in terms of treatment of children, remarkable. Many opportunities to participate in sports and enrichment programs. Many more opportunities for an Afro-Cuban kid in Havana than an African-American. Which makes me angry. Friends will get mad at me for saying this, but I understand why a Cuban kid at 23 or 24 with a good education, coming from a good family, eager to make his or her mark on the world, would go to Miami. And I do understand why Cuban ball players want to play with the best. So it's going to be interesting how things play out in Cuba. Will they be able to continue the wonderful programs they have for children? A film like this, most of its life will be showing in screenings to community groups in schools, because there's a lot of issues embedded in it.
That's right. It's true.
That need to be discussed. So we're hoping to be very aggressive and active for that into the community.
Well, I enjoyed the film, and I appreciate that you did it. I liked a lot of the politics that it brought up, a lot of the issues in society that it brought up, and I thought it made for an interesting discussion. So,
well, thank you.
Right on, man. Yeah. But let me say something off the record. I'm here at the premiere of Ghost Town to Havana in Oakland at the Grand Lake Theater with the star of the film, Coach Rosco Bryant. Coach Rosco, how does it feel to have a full theater to come check you out and to apply the work that you've been doing with these boys?
I'm at awe. I'm shocked. I'm grateful to live in the Bay Area. I think the generosity and the kindness of the people of the Bay Area, well, it just overwhelms me. I did not expect all of this. I simply wanted just to coach kids, keep them off the streets. That's it, that's all. All of this has just been a blessing, and I'm just happy for all of it.
Well, I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but basically you got started coaching because somebody got murdered near the front of your house, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, how did that inspire you to let these children spend the night, and you put years of service? Why did it inspire you to do that?
That one event, it changed my life. To have a 14-year-old kid die in your arms and you're not able to do nothing, it just it opened up a lot of doors for me. It opened up my eyes. It made me understand that we as adults, we have to be as proactive as our forefathers were.
What made you want to play baseball? I mean, you could have done a whole lot of things with these young men. What made you choose baseball?
Well, I first tried wrestling, and a lot of the kids in the neighborhood loved it. It wasn't until I showed them what they had to wear, the uniform, that we knew we weren't going to wrestle. Couldn't get none of the kids to put the singlet on. There are a lot of values in the game of baseball. I say it often, baseball is a game of failure. And I say that because if you hit 3 out of 10, you're a superstar. That's 300%. The thing with that is you fail the other 7 times. Baseball, prepares you literally for life. You're never going to get the first girl you want, the first job you want, the first house you want. You're going to fail a couple times before you actually succeed. And that's what baseball gives back to these kids. You can strike out 7 times, but that 1, that 2, that 3rd hit, beautiful thing. Uplifting.
Well, the American government wants us to think that Cuba's a communist country and there's nothing for us to gain from Cuba. How do you feel about that?
I think that's all propaganda. I learned quite a bit. The Cubans do family well. Most of their families are still intact. They love their children. These are some of the most highly educated children people in the world. I see no obesity over there. You see long life there, healthy people. So I mean, there's a lot that the Cubans really do well. And the propaganda about the communists, we didn't really get into politics. We didn't talk about it. We just talked about baseball.
But you saw day-to-day life, though.
I did. I saw day-to-day life, and it's different than what we have here. I think a lot of the youth learned the difference in between poverty and being poor.
What's the difference? Point to that.
I think being poor is really, I don't want to say a state of mind, but being poor is something you can pull yourself up out of. A lot of hard work, some perseverance. You can change your economic, poor, really, you can change that. Where the poverty is a little bit different. In Cuba, the way they're born is pretty much the way, they're going to die unless they get off the island. But here we have opportunities. Like I say, you could be poor today and be on top of the world tomorrow. We can at least gain, we can come up. We're not, our station in life is not pre-written, it's not always gonna have to be this way. Where the poverty over there is a little bit different. Lifelong kind of thing.
How could people, if they would like to help and support what you're doing, not just with the movie, but with your program with these young men in the inner city playing baseball?
There's several ways to help. The first is there is no substitution for physically being there. What a lot of our children need is just someone to listen to them, someone to guide them, someone to get on them every now and then. I mean, not brutalize or abuse them, no, but just, young brother, that's the wrong thing to do. You tripping, you need to change your way. That is the greatest help we can give our children. The money is a second thing. We're always trying to reinvent the wheel, find ways to keep our program going, but again, I say, just come out. Or it doesn't have to be my organization. It could be any organization. It doesn't have to be baseball. It could be music, basketball, gymnastics, whatever. Just be involved. Spend an hour, give an hour of your time to a child. In that hour, you'll be amazed at the difference you can make in this child's life. But any program in the Bay Area, across the United States, we all need funding. But again, I say more important, we need mentors. We need other brothers, other men, other women just coming out, spending time with our kids. What a difference that makes. The money, that's gonna come. But the men, strong men standing there guiding our children is essential. Again, our children, our men our boys cannot learn to be men unless we teach them how.
Y'all hear it right here, Coach Rosco, the star of Ghost Town to Havana, which will be coming to a screen near you or a DVD player near you. Let me say something off the record. You have like the longest eyebrows I've ever seen.
I gotta trim them. My girlfriend says trim them. This is what happens when you get older, man. They get longer, but there's fewer of them. You know, I don't know what the hell that's
Do you
about.
like brush them to the side?
Yeah, no, I get them out of my eyes. Yeah, sorry, you know.
And at this point, you keep them.
Yeah, might have been screwing up with the.
At this point, you keep them.
Yeah, well, sort of. That's what I feel. You know.
You need
You
to
know,
just.
I mean, I cut them when I can't see. You know?
Hey, you a baseball guy? Why don't you just Raleigh fingers it up? First dude with the Raleigh fingers eyebrows.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Fantastic traveling film circus. We'll be right back at you.
Peace.
There's certain albums that mean a lot to me. 93 Till Infinity is one, because I played it night and day.
From start to finish, it was a great album, you know. I mean, that's When You Lost, you know, Never No More, of course, 93 Till Infinity, you know. I mean, it was just such a solid album.
They could mark that as the point when the West Coast presented artists who were of the elite lyrical caliber.
I knew when I was a little kid that ultimately I was gonna be out as a hip hop artist. There was no doubt in my mind. It was my entire focus. Me and Tajay were like best friends, so we like just be a rap group.
Clee calls me up like, yo, there's this dude that goes to school with Casual. You know what I'm saying? He's raw.
His name Opio.
I had heard all the music before I even really met them. So they was kind of legendary to me already.
Fest started coming through.
A+ was the one who was like, hey man, you should be in the group. Next thing you know, I was the soul of Mischief.
But what they did is they made a lot of other up and coming MCs step up their pen game.
It's like one of those 90s albums where every track is banging.
I mean, it's like a fine wine.
Ridiculous, inspiring.
Say on and on and on and on. Come on. Put your dreams on. Say on and on and on and on.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Let me tell you about the best. Rapping about SF, Black Film Festival. You know we next to blow. Best positive black films on the planet. And you know you gotta have it. This flow comes to show we have our fingers on the pulse of what it means to be black. A whack rap, nah, not that. We dispel negative stereotypes with positive films, yup, that's right. No pimping, drug pushing, no wimping. This is what we build, man. National and international films, film festival every June 10th. Listen to what I said. We had the remedy for your Hollywood addiction, located in San Fran. That place you've been missing. Yeah.
I'd quit that